Hello everybody, it's Star Raptor here, and I'm so happy you could join me for not one, but two Star Wars Rebels episodes from Season 4. This is for Episode 5, The Occupation, and for Episode 6, Flight of the Defender. So getting right into Episode 5, The Occupation. We have the Rebels, the Ghost Crew, going back to Lothal. They had received a distress signal from Ryder Azadi, and they're going to go investigate what's going on. And when they get there, they quickly find out that Lothal is in a lot worse shape than when they left it, and they do get integrated into the Rebel cell there. So getting into things I really enjoyed about this episode is, first off, they are doing a fantastic job of tying all these episodes together so closely, more than we've ever seen with Rebels. It feels like it's just one long arc, going from the previous In the Name of the Rebellion arc, going right to this. We're on the Ghosts, and we have the Rebels linking up with none other than Vizago. Yes, that character that we know from, well, he's showed up in every single season so far, but he's really got an important mission to smuggle them onto Lothal, because that's the only way they're going to get there. There's so much Imperial activity, it's unbelievable. So it's really cool seeing how we're finally seeing all these minor characters kind of working things out with the Ghost Crew. And I really liked seeing how the damage to Lothal from the increased mining activity is really messed up with the atmosphere. You hear a lot of this in canon right now from Catalyst and other novels, where the Imperials are just stripping these planets dry of all their raw resources. I did enjoy the undercover look of the Rebels. I love it every time we get these updated character profiles. Even if it was only for this episode, I really dug the look of Ezra. It's always nice seeing Ezra getting out of his orange jumpsuit, even though in the next episode he's back to wearing that again. So it's really neat just seeing how we're getting different kind of looks of all these characters. Something that really struck hard on my heartstrings was that one little quick scene between Hera and Kanan going in for a kiss and getting interrupted by none other than Zeb. So we do know there's this kind of romanticism that's been kind of there for the entire series, but not really, dived into. So I'm hoping we get more into that. And yeah, it was just, ooh man, that hit me right in the feels. And another character we have that showed up since season 1 is this character called Jai Kell, who you might remember is that one character from that episode Breaking Ranks. He's one of the 3 people that Ezra gets out of there of the Imperial Academy, and it looks like he's there with Ryder, so he's their link to catch up to Ryder. So again, another great thing from an episode that we might have called filler at the time, and Filoni is doing an excellent job with getting all these things in there that we thought were filler. So really great job from Filoni and crew. Also, I really enjoyed seeing an Imperial hover tank for however brief it was. The tanks from Rogue One. I just love the Imperial kind of tanks, so every time we see some kind of new vehicle brought in from another part of canon, I'm all for it. And finally, the action in this episode was great. I really love seeing Kanan and Ezra just going at it with their lightsabers, and even seeing Hera take out a few troopers herself with that little snub pistol she has. So all around, this was an excellent episode. I think it's one of the better Rebels episodes for sure. So we're going to dive right into the next episode called Flight of the Defender. And again, this episode goes right into where we had Ryder Azadi finally link up with the Rebels at the end of the episode Occupation. It goes right into this, and now they're going to find out. The mission on this one is to find out about this new TIE, not TIE Advance, TIE Defender Elite prototype or something like that. So it's basically Sabine and Ezra that are going to plant this, kind of get the information out of this thing. And next thing you know, Thrawn shows up. So yes, this is the first physical appearance of Thrawn, because we've seen him in a hologram in episode 1, I think, or episode 2 of this season. We actually see him in the flesh, and he's there with Governor Price. And they're also there with that one pilot. His name is escaping me. Oh, Scarus. He was from that Skystrike Academy episode last season. Again, pulling these other minor characters in, which is great. So we do see how Sabine and Ezra get in this TIE Defender, and they're flying it around, and they do a kill switch that Governor Price puts in there, so they do a crash landing, and we finally meet a wolf. See, not a dire wolf from Game of Thrones, but you might as well call it, because it's awesome, and it's kind of sentient, I think, which I'll get into in a minute here. So yes, that wolf actually saves Ezra, and it saves Sabine and gets them out of this place, because the Imperials are all looking for them, and they link up with the Rebels, and that's pretty much the episode. So get into some things I like. Again, Scarus, seeing that character from a prior season brought in, continuing storylines of other characters. I also really enjoyed seeing Thrawn in this episode, particularly at that point when he is just so fearless. He is going up against the TIE Defender, like firing at it with his gun, and he's not standing still. It is a little bit odd how they can't just hit somebody just standing still, because they're firing and they're destroying all the ships around them, Sabine and Ezra, and he's just kind of standing there unscathed. So, yeah, he's not going to go down that easily. I'm just taking an overall look at this season so far, particularly this episode. You really get to feel that the production value has gone up. But these like dogfights and the explosions and the music's been so great this whole season. You really feel like they are delivering on everything that they promised with this season of Rebels. They were just bringing their A game. Another thing I really enjoyed seeing was the Lothal. Now, this is something that's going to be speculated a lot in the fandom right now. Is this Lothal? Is it Ahsoka? Who is it? And it's interesting because we don't really find out the whole truth behind this creature in this particular part of the episode, because it's at the end. I'm hoping the next episode we learn more about the Lothal. But what I can say is that Ezra is the only one who seems to be able to see this thing. And I think it's cool because we're playing off of previous plot lines with Ezra, where he was very strong with being able to communicate with beasts and animals through the Force. So is this him, like, kind of, imaging something, and it's really him just teleporting Sabine or something like that? Maybe Ezra turns into the wolf and is riding. I don't know, but I want to hear your guys' theories on this, because I'm sure there's some crazy theories out there. I honestly would be okay with it if it was Ahsoka, because we all know that Dave Filoni has huge influence from Lord of the Rings, Gandalf the White being reborn, and the Eagles in Lord of the Rings. I could see maybe that could happen with these wolves here, but they're really cool because actually you hear the wolf. I think, at least I thought I heard it saying Sabine when they first meet. So they are sentient in a way, it seems like, where they can actually communicate, sort of, maybe. I don't know if there's more of these wolves, or if it's the only wolf, so there could be lots of things to speculate from that point on. And finally, for the first time, I think, in Rebels history, I am actually starting to enjoy the character of Ezra Bridger. Now, I've given this character a lot of criticism over the years for just being a wacko, basically. But it seems in these last couple episodes, since last episode with Saul Guerrera, he has really kind of grown up and mature. And he's somebody that I'm kind of rooting for. I mean, he's out there with his green lightsaber, just doing work on all the stormtroopers by himself. Like, you could really tell he's getting strong in the ways of the Force. But yeah, I believe I like the occupation a little bit more than Flight of the Defender, but I do really like where they're taking this series with the ending of the Flight of the Defender with the Lothal. So we're getting into the mysticism of the Force, guys, which is one of my favorite things when it comes to Star Wars. So that's going to do it for my review of both of the Occupation and Flight of the Defender. Now it's time for you guys to talk to me. What did you think of the Occupation? What did you think of Flight of the Defender? What are you thinking about them linking all these prior plot lines and characters into this last season of Rebels? How are you enjoying the season? What do you think the Lothal means for Star Wars Rebels? Let's just get all nerdy about it right down there in the comment section below. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. I have plenty of other Star Wars content that you should definitely check out if you're into Star Wars. I do a weekly show where I talk about the comics, the books, the video games, what have you, and I'm always talking about movies and TV on the channel, so make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss any of that future content that's uploaded, and it helps support me. I want to thank you guys for watching, and may the Force be with you always. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me, and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram @StarRaptor.